Here's what nobody tells a beginner about Google Sheets. The layout hasn't significantly changed in over 7 years. That means the time you invest learning the interface today will pay you off for years to come. In this step-by-step video, I'm going to break down Google Sheet interface in a superhero headquarters kind of example that will stick in your memory. No more random clicking or hunting through menus. You will know exactly where everything lives and where to find it. Hi, my name is Ujjwal and welcome back to Stupid Simple Tutorials, where we make tech easy for everyone. This is part 2 of the Google Sheets series, and in this video we are going to find our way around basic layout of Google Sheets. Now I want you to look at this example very carefully. Now we are going to consider Google Sheets as a superhero. Yeah, Google Sheet is a superhero. And the best part is you have access to all the powers of this superhero for free. Now, how do we make a superhero? Just imagine you are given a superhero and all his powers, you'll have to name it, right? The first thing this superhero is going to have is a name. As simple as that, right? You are going to name this superhero something. And apart from name, what this superhero is going to have is, why is this a superhero? Because it has a lot of powers, right? And it has, lots and lots of powers. But does it only have how many powers are there? 6 powers? No, it has so many powers. There are a lot of powers and functionalities that this superhero can execute and perform. And we have control over these powers. Now, are these powers same? No. All of these powers serve different purpose in different aspect of life. So what does that mean is, let's say, these powers are serving the purpose of daily activity. You solve daily activities in a more powerful way. Let's say this is helping our superhero with the speed of how we execute things. Let's say this is helping our superhero do the time travel stuff, right? Like going back in time, correcting our mistakes, all that stuff. And let's say the next is this superpower is helping us become more intelligent. So all these powers, as you can see on the screen, solve a different purpose. This power is helping our superhero change costumes or maybe modify the look. So these superheroes has different number of powers that solve different aspects in life. As you can see, different powers, different aspects of life. But are they actually limited to this? No, the answer is wrong. This superhero has lots and lots and lots of powers, and because of that, we have to organize these powers in a proper way so that it will help us find it when we need it, right? If it is not organized and it is haphazardly distributed everywhere, then we have to organize these powers in a proper way, right? What we did is simple. We stacked all similar powers at one place. As simple as that. Now, as you can see here, there are so many powers, right? We have stacked them properly so that we can find it. Of course, we can find it when we have stacked them. But are we going to use all of the powers every day, every hour, every single minute? No. Just like we have frequently asked questions, we also have frequently used powers. Now, I'm just asking you to imagine this, okay? Let's say this is the power we use daily. This is the power we use daily. This is the power we use daily. Now, this is the power we use daily. Don't you think we should have all these powers which we use daily, with some kind of quick access, right? So what we will be doing is simple. You see a belt in this superhero, right? The superhero has a belt, right? So what we can do is add all those powers in this belt. And that's how we do it, right? Most used powers will be added into this belt, with a shortcut so that we can have quick access to these powers. Now, how is this belt going to look like? This belt is going to look something like this. The superhero has all the powers in here and we can use them whenever we want. So it can be called quick access belt, right? We have so many powers here. Now, most frequently used powers are going to land on belt. As simple as that, right? Now, how does it relate to Google Sheets? You will see that right now. Okay, so what I'm doing is heading over to the Google Sheet interface, right? So I will go to sheets.google.com, as easy as that. And the first thing I'll do is click on the blank spreadsheet. And that's it. It fired up a new blank spreadsheet for me. Let's clear the clutter. Just ignore this, click the cross icon, and we have a clean new spreadsheet ready and open for us. I know it could be having, if you are watching this for the first time, you're opening Google Sheets for the first time, it can be a little bit confusing, but now As you have seen my example of superhero, what I'm going to show you is going to make it very relatable. Okay, so we'll start with this. Now you remember this image where we organize these powers properly. You see the powers are organized. Now this is where the power is organized. You see this place, this is the where the power is organized. Let me show you how. If you go to file, you see all the powers organized in a beautiful fashion a superhero can perform. So every Google Sheet is a superhero in itself, and all these powers that the superhero can perform is organized in a proper way. Now, what is the next thing just below this? As I told you, if you remember, is our beautiful nice belt, which I showed you, where we have quick access to the powers which we use frequently, right? So now, as you can see here, we have this belt, this long, beautiful belt that we have. We can have quick access to all the powers that we use frequently. Now, everything mentioned here is also in this list because, as I told you in this picture, because all these powers are this belt is only having a shortcut. Okay, so now let me share you the terminologies on what we call this. Okay, let's start at the very top. You will see the name of the spreadsheet. By default, it's called untitled spreadsheet, like a superhero without a name. Click right on it to give your spreadsheet its superhero identity. Okay, maybe it's my first budget, as simple as that, or I can just clear it and write it as practice sheet, as simple as that. Okay. So when you hit enter, your sheet has its own superhero name. Okay. And Google Sheets saves your work automatically. So you don't need to worry about hitting a save button all the time. It's like having a sidekick who is always watching your back. Cool. Next to the name, you will see a little star icon. Clicking this lets you star this file in your Google Drive headquarters, making it easier to find later. Now, if you star this, okay, let's say I starred it. Now I'll show you what the function of the star is. It's very simple. If I go in the plus icon, I'll go to drive.google.com. As you see, I have clicked on this. I have starred it, right? And when I go on drive.google.com, I go to the starred area. And as you can see, the practice sheet is available here. As simple as that. Now let me show you something else. If I go to my drive, I right click and click on new folder and I write here layout spreadsheet. As simple as that. I created a sheet with the name layout spreadsheet. Okay. I go to the practice sheet and as you can see this icon, it says move, right? If I click on that, it will ask me which folder should I move this. Layout spreadsheet, I click on move and this spreadsheet is now moved to that folder. If I go to the Google Drive, as you can see, this is a layout spreadsheet. I double click and you see the sheet here. If I go here and I unstar this, I go back here and refresh this page, this sheet is no longer starred. As simple as that. Okay. And you see this cloud with the tick icon here. It is only there to show you the status of this sheet. Like whether if it is showing a single tick with a cloud, that means you're good. The sheet is saved and it is backed up. So let's say you are not connected to the internet. This will not show this icon. It will show something else. Okay. So you just need to make sure this cloud and the tick mark is showing the saved icon. Let me show you an example. I'll write here simple. And if I click enter, you see it is showing saving here because it's saving to the drive. Now it will show you saved and this sort of document saved. If I'm not connected to this internet, it will show some error over here. As simple as that. Okay. All right. Now that your sheet is saved, let's move on to the menu bar. This, what you see on the screen is what we call the menu bar. It is just an organized way of listing all the powers of this spreadsheet. As simple as that. We have already discussed that. Let me go through them one by one. The purpose of this video is not to explain you each and every functionality of everything inside this menu because all the consecutive videos that I'll be posting after this is going to solve that purpose. Okay. Now let's start. First one is the file. Now this is your headquarters main entrance where you can create new sheet, open an existing one, make copies, download in different formats like let's say Excel or PDF, and print your Google Sheets in different ways you want your Google Sheets to be printed. Okay, as simple as that. Next, we go to the edit. This is your time travel room with undo and redo powers, plus cut, copy, paste, find and replace. When you make a mistake, this is where you will go and fix it. In the next video, I'll also show you awesome keyboard shortcuts so that you don't even have to click your mouse or use your mouse to do all of these acts. Okay. Next, we go to the view tab. Now, controls your observation deck. This view tab is there, it's there if you want to zoom in or zoom out, show or hide grid lines, freezing rows or columns so that they stay visible when scrolling through large databases. I'll show you an example, okay? If I go to show and if I hide the grid lines, as you can see, all the grid lines are now hidden. We can still click on it, but they are hidden. Maybe if after creating the whole sheet, you don't want to see those ugly grid lines. When you become an expert, you don't want to see these grid lines. Now, in that case, if you wish, you can hide those. Okay, if I go to view, show, and again, I can view the grid lines. Okay, and then we can actually freeze groups. Like, let's say I want to freeze the first row of the Google Sheet. Let's say I want to freeze the few columns in the Google Sheets. I'll be covering all of this in future lessons, so don't worry. Next, we have the Insert tab. This is your equipment room where you can add new rows, columns, charts, images, links, and comments to enhance your Google Sheets. Next, we have Format. Think of it as your costume department, changing how your data looks with bold, italic, colors, and alignment options. Next on the list, we have Data. This is your analysis tab with superpowers like sorting powers, filtering abilities, and tools to create drop-down lists. Next on the list, we have is Tools. Contains your utility belt, okay? Now with spell check and form creation capabilities and other helpful gadgets. Next, we have Extensions. This is where you upgrade your powers, okay? Adding special abilities through add-ons, like third-party add-ons. There are many developers who are building third-party add-ons for Google Sheets. This is where you come and use, add those add-ons. There are free add-ons, there are paid add-ons. This is a whole different universe. Next, we have the Help tab. You won't be needing that because you're watching my videos. So right below the menu bar, we have our toolbar. This is what we call the toolbar, quick access toolbar. Now, as you already know, this is the belt we talked about in the superhero example. And the purpose of this toolbar is very simple. It is just housing all the most frequently used powers of this Google Sheets. If I just want to brief you down, we have undo and redo here. These arrows lets you fix mistakes on the go, take you back to previous step. We have the print icon, we have the paint format icon. Let's say I'll give you an example. We have this simple. Let's say I decided to bold it, give it some italicize the text, green color, and let's say now I come here and type a different name. I type my name, and now I want this styling to be pasted here. So what will I do is simply I'll go to this cell, I'll click on the paint format, I'll click on this cell. As you can see, this styling, we will have more optimized ways of doing the same thing in the future, but this is how it is done. Then we have the Zoom tab, where you can decide how much of zoomed view you can look at this sheet. And then we have the formatting options, as we already used it, like we have bold, italic, strike through, text colors, fill colors, borders, all those stuffs, which we'll be covering in futures in greater detail. We have alignment options as well, left aligned, center aligned, right aligned. And we have the merge cell options as well here. Like, let's say I select the cells and we can merge them into one as this cell becomes a one cell. Okay. Right below that, we have our formula bar. Now, this is the place where we enter complex formulas. And actually, this is the real most used power of Google Sheets. Formulas are the backbone of making really, really great Google Sheets. Okay, and we will be covering this in greater detail in future. All you have to know is the formula bar is where the magic happens when you start working with formulas. Okay, so every sheet has a different story to tell, and this formula bar is what I'll say is a storyteller for that particular cell. Next, let's talk about the grid, which is the main battleground for your superhero headquarters. Okay. What do I mean by that is if you see this is where the whole magic or the whole, everything that we are going to do with our data. Like we'll have our data here and we'll use Google Sheet powers to do literally whatever we want with our data. And that is going to happen here. The first thing on this grid is, as you can see, are columns. Now, these are vertical streets in your city, as you can, just think of it like that. And this is labeled as A, B, C, D. And then we have rows. Now, these are horizontal, streets, let's say labeled as 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have the cell. Each boxes in the grid is called a cell, and now each cell is having a unique address. Let's say the top left cell, as you can see, is having A1. This has an address E5. And if you want to know the address of the cell and you don't want to refer this or this, you can just click on that, and this place is going to show you the address of that cell. You see, this place is going to show you the address of the cell. Whenever you have a cell selected, this is the place where it will show you the address of the cell. At the very bottom, you will see tabs, which we call as sheet tabs. Now, what are these sheet tabs? You see this? It is showing, it is written as sheet 1. Now, I can just add more sheets to it. No, these are just pages, you can, if I go to sheet 1, you have these data which I just entered. You can go to sheet 2 and start with a fresh sheet. You can connect these two sheets with formulas as well. I'll show that in the future. You can even rename these sheets by clicking on the arrow icon and just renaming it. Or you can even decide to delete this sheet. Okay, I can just click on delete. It will ask me for a prompt and I'll just click on OK. The sheet is deleted. As simple as that. So there you have it. A quick tour of Google Sheets Superhero Headquarters. We covered the menu bar, the toolbar, the formula bar, the grid, and all those columns, cells, and the sheet tabs. You also understood why the layout is made in this way with a superhero example. So knowing where things are is basically your first superpower. You're now ready to work with data like a spreadsheet superhero, and that is what we'll be starting in our next videos with keyboard shortcuts. So if this guy literally helped you in some way of actually making you not fear from the Google Sheet layouts, give this video a like and subscribe to Stupid Simple Tutorials and click that bell icon so that you get updated whenever I post my next video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.